Alright, so here is your pre-calc quiz, worked out with answers. So we take a look at question number 1. And question number 1, again, we're trying to find the limit. If we simply plug in, the 4 is how much the question was worth. If we simply plug in -9, we get 0 in the bottom. Now if I get anything else but 0 in the top, then this thing is D and E. I plug in -9, I'm going to get 81, and a -54, and a -27, I'm going to get 0. All right? That tells you that the same factor that's in the bottom that becomes 0 will be that same factor in the top. So it makes your factoring a little bit easier. If I have x squared, I know this is x. If the 27 is negative, I know that's a minus because we have to have then different signs. If 9 is one of the factors of 27, the other factor has to be 3. These cancel, and then I'm taking the limit as x approaches -9, so it'll be -9 minus 3. I can just plug it in, and I get -12 as my final answer. Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2, I'm going to try to plug 5 into the bottom, and I'm good. I plug 5 in the bottom, I get 1. I plug 5 into the top, I get 15 minus 2, and altogether then that's going to be 13. I go to question number 3, I plug -3 in the bottom, I'm going to get 0. I plug -3 in the top, I'm going to get 9 minus 3 is 6, and -6, that's 0. So again, we're going to take the limit as x goes to a -3. I'm going to factor the top, and the top is definitely going to factor into an x plus 3. There's my x plus 3 in the bottom. What's left will be an x minus 2. These will cancel. I take -3 now and I plug it in. I'm going to get -3 minus 2, and that's a -5. Over here I'm going to take my -2 and plug it in. I'm going to get 0 in the bottom. Again, if I don't get 0 in the top, it's D and E. I'm going to get a +4 plus 2 because it's a minus, and then that's going to be 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So that means I can factor this. So there's my limit as x approaches -2. The bottom is x plus 2, x minus 2, the difference of two perfect squares. Now the reason why this goes to 0 is because it is x plus 2. That has to be a factor in the top. So I can find out the other factor by, looking at the signs and, the differences and everything else. So it's got to be an x minus 3 again. So we go ahead and cancel these out. So I'm going to now plug in the -2. I'm going to have a -2 minus 3 in the top. I'm going to have a -2 and a -2 in the bottom. That means I have a -5 over a -4, which is simply 5/4. I go to question number 5, a little bit more difficult question because we have to synthetically divide, but I'm letting x go to -2, so I get 0 on the bottom. If I plug a -2 in, I'm going to get a -8. I have a +4, that's a +20, -2 minus 10, that's 0. Alright, so once again, I know that I'm going to have the limit as x approaches -2. I'm going to have an x plus 2 factor in the top, and I'm going to have an x plus 2 factor in the bottom. That's the reason why we get the 0 over 0. But what I need to find out is what's going to be the remaining factor there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to synthetically divide. So as x approaches -2, that's what goes into the box. My coefficients of x cubed is 1, of x squared is 5, of x is 1, my constant's -10. I draw my line. This should come out to be 0. That's the reason why we get the 0 over 0. Alright, so let's see what we get. Carry the 1 down. -2 times 1 is -2, +3. -2 times a +3 is a -6. That's a -5. -2 times -5 is a +10. And we wind up getting 0. So we knew this was going to happen, but these are now the new coefficients of a polynomial that's reduced by 1 or depressed by 1. So this is 1x squared, and then plus 3x, and then -5. Alright? So why did we do that? Well, now these cancel, so I'm going to take care of this 0 over 0, and now I can plug in a -2. So I'm going to have a -2 squared, then I'm going to have plus 3 times a -2, and then -5. So this is going to equal 4, then plus a -6, and -5. So altogether, I believe this is a -7. And then finally, last question. worth the most. A lot of things going on here. Find the equation of a line tangent to the curve. We have to know that, okay, well, let's take it piece by piece. Here's the point, so it's tangent to the curve at this point. So I know that my formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This will be my final answer. So it's y minus the y coordinate, so it's y minus a minus 4. So it'll be y plus 4 equals m times x minus 2. So I'm done. I just have to find out what that m is. Okay? The way I find out what the m is, I have a formula. M is going to equal the limit as x approaches 2. It's your change in your y's, so it's f of x minus f of a. That's change in y over your change in x. All right, so I'm going to plug in what I know. This is going to be the limit as x approaches 2. F of x is 2x squared minus 5x, 2x cubed minus 5x squared, and then minus f of a, which is going to be that negative 4. So that becomes plus 4. All of this is over x minus 2. When you plug in the 2, you're going to get 0 in the top, you're going to get 0 in the bottom. That means we need to cancel things out. So rewriting it, the limit as x goes to 2. Again, the reason why the bottom goes to 2 is because of the x minus 2. So the top is going to have a factor of x minus 2. But I'm going to have to synthetically divide. So I'm going to come down here to do that. I'm going to put 2 in the box this time. I have 2x cubed. I have minus 5x squared. I don't have an x term. This is where some of us made the mistake. It's 0x and then plus 4. Carry the 2 down. 2 times 2 is 4. I add, that's a negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. Add, that's a negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4. Add, and I do get 0. This is going to give me the coefficients of a depressed polynomial. It was x cubed, so it's going to be 2x squared, and then minus x and minus 2. These will cancel. Remember, we're looking for m. So as x approaches 2 now, I can plug it in. 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8, minus 2, minus 2. So I get 4. So my slope is 4. So that's what we're going to plug in here. Y plus 4 is equal to 4 times x minus 2. So y plus 4 is equal to, distribute, 4x minus 8. Subtracting 4 from both sides, I'm going to get y is equal to 4x minus 12. Y is equal to 4x minus 12. That's going to be your equation of a line tangent to the curve. So yeah, there's a lot of work there, but if you stay with the formula that you're originally supposed to start with and plug in the points, know what you're missing, which is the m, and then go to the slope formula that we talked about, just your change in y over your change in x, but using limits. Knowing you're going to get 0 to 0 over 0, that's your first check, and then using synthetic division to be able to factor. And that was the quiz.